Alright, so, this video is going to be about agents, right? But we're going to define agent, because I can already tell some people feel like if you use that word agent, like, they make it seem like you saying that these is bad people or some shit. But that ain't really what an agent is all even is. You know what I mean? We know that this battle is not against flesh and blood, right? But against principalities in other realms, right? So you got to really take a look at how this society is structured. You got to really take a look at how this society is structured. When you come here, how you get a birth certificate with your name in all capital letters, and you get a social security card with your account number on it. You know what I mean? So basically right there, they're telling you who you are, A society where you got to get a driver's license. You got to get permission to drive a vehicle on your own land, where you got to get a license to get married. You got to get permission to be married. Then you get to look at a list of jobs available here, and you can choose one. Which one you would like to do? That's, they're presenting why you're here. You go to school, you get a good job, you retire, and then you die. Depending on what family you come into, they're gonna tell you who God is. They're gonna show you who God is. They're gonna present God to you, right? And then their perception now becomes your perception. And it might not even be their perception, because it's going to be somebody else. That was their mom's perception, because their mom taught them that shit. So it's easy to become lost here and forget why you came here. Forget your mission, So let's define agent. What is an agent? An agent is a person who acts on behalf of another person or group. A person who acts on the behalf of another person or group. Now, in the movie, you can see that this is showing you how they are controlling your emotions. It's showing you how they're controlling your emotions. The headquarters for the whole operation of the Truman Show, the headquarters is inside the moon. The headquarters is inside the moon. In astrology, the moon represents the emotions. The moon controls the tide, right? So we already know that this is talking about how they're controlling your emotions. And as soon as the movie starts, the creator of the show begins talking about the emotions, talking about how people getting tired of the same old scripted shows and shit like that. They looking for real emotions, right? All right, so it's a lot of shit in this movie, but I'm probably just gonna point out like 20 points. There's a lot of there's a lot of numerology in it. You see the number 9 a lot. Number 9 represents completion or spiritual enlightenment or awakening, right? Because that's what this is all about. spiritual enlightenment and awakening. So you'll see the number 9 throughout the movie a lot. But like I was saying about the emotions, let's define emotion. Emotion is a natural, instinctive state of mind deriving from one's circumstances, mood, or relationships with others. One more time. A natural, instinctive state of mind deriving from one's circumstances, mood, or relationships with others, right? So this is the actual spiritual warfare that they're using on Truman, or the spiritual warfare that they're using on you. Well, I would say spiritual attack that they're using on you. It's spiritual warfare when you know how to fight back. Otherwise, you just getting attacked all the time. Now, when you putting this together, they're using people, right? They're using people, an agent, to act on their behalf, right? In order to control Truman's emotions. Why do they want to control Truman's emotions? So that he will stay where he is. He will stay in the reality that is presented to him. If he decides he wants to explore other realities and see what else is out there, they're going to use people, circumstances. They're going to use circumstances, and they're going to use the people in his reality to try to keep him or keep you in density, where you feel like what you see with your two eyes is the reality. When you feel like what you see, what is presented to you, is the reality. Now this is the illusion. So if you don't want to get lost in the illusion, but it's so easy to, when you have attachments, when you can't detach, it's really easy to get lost in here, right? So now, Truman's wife, the actress, right? We know she's an actress, so we know she's a conscious agent. She knows her job, but when the movie begins, she starts to talk about how she doesn't separate her personal life and her show life. She said it's her lifestyle. She says, so she's all in, she said it's a noble life, right? So this is what you could consider like one of your religious people, where they actually feel like they're doing a service, like they're actually serving God by doing what they're doing, trying to get people to believe how they believe, save lost souls and shit like that, right? When you actually feel like you're doing the right thing, and that's most people. That's most people. When you actually feel like, when you have a child, we got to make sure we raise them in the ways of how we were brought up. If we was brought up in the church, we got to make sure that we bring our children up in the church, right? So that's Truman's wife. Then you got Truman's best friend. His job is to make sure Truman believes that the world he perceives is real by gaining his trust. So to do that, he got to convince himself it's real. He said something like, nothing is fake. It's merely controlled. He said nothing is fake. It's merely controlled. Meaning, we are controlling how Truman perceives reality, right? Controlling how Truman perceives reality. Why do they want to do this? Because if they can control how you feel, they can control the energy you create from it. They can control how you feel. They can control the energy that you create from it. So the movie begins with a glitch in the matrix, right? One of the lights in this dome that they done built around Truman then fell to the ground right in front of Truman's house, right? So Truman goes over to it. See, anytime you have these type of glitch in the matrix experiences, it's gonna automatically cause you to question the reality. You're gonna automatically question the reality when you have these type of glitch in the matrix experiences. You know what I'm saying? Like, I had this type of experience. One time I'm walking down the street, right, and bus come by. The bus stops at the corner. Some dude gets off the bus, right, with a pink shirt and blue jeans on. And I see the guy, and I'm like, okay, this nigga got on blue jeans and a pink shirt. You know how you say what's up to a nigga, give him the nod, what up, nigga? So I start, like, now the bus is going in the opposite direction that I'm walking. So he gets off the bus and starts walking in the opposite direction. So I keeps going down the road. Maybe like 5 minutes later, who do I see walking down the street, walk past me again? The same motherfucking dude with the pink shirt and the blue jeans. And I walked past him, I said, what's up again? And I'm like, that's the nigga. I was like, yeah, oh, there go dude with the pink shirt and blue jeans. I'm like, man, where do I know that nigga from? And I'm like, hold up. That's the motherfucker that just got off the bus. Now, how this dude, same dude, man. So these type of joints really cause you to question reality. And that's what happens here. He looks at this thing. When he looks at the light, it says, it got the number 9 on it. But then it says Sirius. It says Sirius on the motherfucker. So it's like a satellite or some shit, right? But it got Sirius on it, basically hinting to him, you're the star. Basically pointing him home. Now each time there's a glitch, there's always some explanation right behind it. Before you can even ask the question about the shit, they already cleaning it up through the radio, the TV, and the newspaper, through the media. Because when you see it on TV or hear it on the radio or read it in the newspaper, you take it as gold, You take it as gold. And you see that in all the different scenes. When every time it's a glitch, they clean that shit up. Now, when I was saying about if they can control how you feel, they can control the energy you create, right? And here's a prime example with the viewing audience. All the millions of people tuned in to this particular frequency. When everybody is tuned in to this particular frequency, right? Now it's time to manipulate the emotions, and you can see how they was doing that with when in the scene where Truman, when they brought his dad back to the show. And when he reunited with his dad, they started to be like, all right, cue the music. You know what I'm saying? Bring in the fog. You know what I'm saying? They like, easy on the fog. You know what I'm saying? Bring the lights down a little bit. Trying to set the mood and the tone. Right? Who was that? That shit wasn't for Truman and them. That was for the viewing audience to feel a certain way. They know you're gonna feel a certain way when they play the music like this. Make the fog, you know what I'm saying, bring that fog down a little bit, and how we tweak the lighting, because it takes all of that energy to keep the illusion intact. That's how you keep the illusion intact. That's how you keep the show going. That motherfucking show was going on and on. They ain't even stop. They was throwing ads in and shit just here and there, like boom. Get the slices and dices. But for real though, got you tuned in to a particular frequency, right? So Truman, he works a 9 to 5 like everybody else, but his mind is elsewhere. His mind is on Sylvia, or Lauren. That was her name on the show, but she let him know that ain't her real name. Who she really is Sylvia. You know what I'm saying? And he was thinking about Sylvia, and he was thinking about Fiji, cause that was the last thing he heard. Her fake ass dad said, "We going to Fiji." So he was like, Fiji? The whole rest of his time, the whole rest of his life, he was thinking about Sylvia and Fiji. Now Sylvia she could represent like a divine being who come in your reality, try to help you see some truth. You know what I mean? But she also could represent the passion that actually got Truman, or the passion that actually gets you to continue and fight through all of the bullshit to get to knowledge of self. Cause without that passion, it ain't gonna really be shit. You ain't gonna follow through with it. It might just be a vague ambition, like the dude on the creator of the movie said, of the show said. Just a vague ambition ain't gonna get your ass there. But that motherfucking passion will, right? So even though they took her off the show and his encounter with her was brief, he never forgot that shit. That shit remained in his mind and eventually led him to truth and freedom. Knowing thyself. Right? Now, they constantly trying to prey on Truman's fear. Right? So they trying to make him go to the harbor, because they know he's afraid of the water. But they created a circumstance for him to fear the water in the first place. Right? They created the circumstance. Now, anytime they want to, they can trigger this fear in order to keep Truman where he is. In your case, that would be density. To keep your ass in density, they will create circumstances that cause you to fear, so that it would cause you to fear even going into another realm of reality. right? Look, you gotta really look at this shit, man. Now, Truman's best friend is never in support of Truman's desire to leave that place. He always telling Truman like, "Oh man, you got a great job, man. I would kill for your job." You know what I'm saying? He's saying shit like this, trying to make it like, "Nigga, why would you want to leave this place?" You know what I'm saying? He got so many positive things to say about this place, and so many reasons why Truman should just stay there. Like, nigga, why the fuck you trying to leave and shit? Nigga, look at all the shit you got going on, man. You got a good job. You know, you got a wife. You got a house, car. You know what I'm saying? You gonna be getting your pension real soon, nigga. He like, nigga, you got a desk job, nigga. I work. I'm stuffing candy machines and shit. Trying to make it look like, nigga, you got it made, dude. Don't worry about none of that other shit, nigga. Just, you got it made right here. So, you know, Truman's having all of these different experiences that's causing him to wake up. So when they see that Truman is starting to wake up, they use his wife. Truman's wife comes with the financial obligation program. She keeps coming with the financial obligation program. You know, you got the mortgage. You know what I'm saying? He like, nigga, yo, let's up and bounce, man. You know what I'm saying? Let's up and bounce. Fuck is you talking about bouncing, nigga? You got the mortgage. You got the job. You got, you know what I'm saying? We think about bringing a baby into this world. All of this shit, right? To get you on these obligations that you got to be attached to keep you feeling like I really can't do what I can't really do this passion that I have. I can't really do it because I gotta go to work, gotta pay these bills and shit. When you accept it, you feel like you depend on it. When you accept it, you feel like, yeah, I do need them. All right. Then she tried to belittle him and say he acting like a teenager. He acting like a child, right? But then Jesus in the Bible say, except you become like one of these children, you will not enter into the kingdom of heaven. Right? Except you become like one of these children using your own imagination, you will not enter into the kingdom of heaven, or you will never know thyself. You know? Because even in that passage of scripture, yeah, the little kids running around playing and shit. And they're like, hey, somebody say, hey, sit your ass down, little motherfuckers. Grown folk up in here. He said, nah, don't fucking leave them niggas alone. Unless you become like one of them, you ain't never gonna know yourself. See, when you start to feel like this shit is the norm, and when you start to feel like this shit is how it actually goes, and you accept it, you don't have no problem. You don't have no problem doing it. You don't got no problem going to pay the goddamn taxes and shit. You don't got no problem going to get the goddamn license and shit. You don't got no problem with having a motherfucking social security card and account number, and you ain't even use a motherfucking use an account and shit. You ain't got no fucking problem with that. You lost. And if you trying to get other people on that, use an agent, cause you being used. Use an open vessel. If you don't know yourself, use a willing vessel, like Truman's wife. Use a willing vessel to try to program people with these programs. Because when you deprogram, like Truman, Then you reprogram, like Neo. But then you got high level agents who are assigned to you, who are actually on the lookout for anybody who can get close to you with some kind of enlightenment. You know what I mean? And you seen that in the scene where he had the paper stand, and you got the lady with the dog and shit. She's an agent, and then the dude standing behind him reading the newspaper. He's an agent. And then when his father got back on the show somehow, and Truman walks past him, and he says, "Dad, these two agents, you know what I'm saying, they had to reveal themselves and get that, and snatch that motherfucker up." They snatched that motherfucker up out of there real quick. Like this would be your CIA, your FBI, shit like that. Those high level agents. But Truman's father could also represent how a house divided among itself will fall, or how them being in conflict with themselves can open your eyes to a lot of the lies. You know what I'm saying? You know, because he, just for the fact that he still wanted that limelight. He was pissed when he got brought off the show. He still wanted some limelight, so he was willing to fucking expose Truman to the truth to get back on the show. Like, fucking nigga, I'll tell this nigga everything, shit. Then they ended up compromising. All right, we'll write you back on the show. Damn. You about to blow the whole goddamn thing for us. But that right there sparked it, because now he like, hold up. Y'all told me Dad was dead. Y'all told me Dad was dead. So he goes to his mom's and shit. You know? He go to his mom to tell her about what he's seen and experienced. What he has seen and experienced. He want to go tell this to his mom, and she was not trying to hear that shit at all. All she does is stick to the story that they've been telling him the whole time, you know. And she tried to hit him with the guilt program. She tried to hit him with the guilt program, and it almost worked. You know what I'm saying? You could tell because by the look on his face and shit. She almost got him with the guilt program. The guilt program is one of the highest tactics. That's one of the most effective tactics of an agent. Use the guilt program. That shit will have you compromising everything. But if you delete the guilt program, anybody try to program you with that shit, it's gonna be impossible. Cause you already done deleted that motherfucker. So then when Truman started having feelings for someone who didn't make no agreements to keep him in his prison cell, she had to go. She had to go. But not before she gave him just enough truth for him to continue with his quest and stay on his path, and not the path that someone else laid out for him. Not the path that somebody else laid out for him. She put him on his path to knowledge of self. She put him on his path to knowing thyself. Right? Now, the more Truman is enlightened, the more he started to do things differently. Right? He ain't doing the same shit that he do every day now. He's starting to like psych the motherfucking matrix out, or he's psyching his mind. He's reprogramming right now. He's deprogramming right now. And the more he gets out of his pattern and routine, the more enlightened he becomes. Right? So it's like that give and receive. The more he's enlightened, the more he starts to do things differently. The more different shit he's doing, the more enlightened he becomes. You know what I'm saying? And now, the star of the show is being treated like he's the villain. Because he done seen behind the veil. Now they kicking him out of the buildings and shit. And arresting his ass. He's the fucking star. But he's seeing too much. And he's knowing too much. Now Truman still thinks he has his best friend for some reason. He still think he got his best friend. And his best friend has to make it seem like he still got it. So he entertains what Truman be saying so that he could get Truman to reveal his emotions. Because he has to have somebody to talk to in order for them to know what's in his heart. Because if he don't say it, they ain't gonna know. So Truman knows that whatever is going on is deeper than the physical. Because when he said he think he being watched. He said he feel like he being watched. And he's right. You know what I'm saying? He's exactly right. He don't really fully know what he just feels it. His spirit knows it. He said, I feel like I'm being watched. And then when his friend said, by who? He said, I don't know, because they look just like regular people. So he know it's beyond the physical, though. He like, they look like regular people, but I know there's something going on beyond the physical. Beyond what the two eyes can see, the regular people. So now they reminiscing with him. Going down memory lane. Looking at pictures and shit. So he can attach himself to these memories and identify with being Truman and being a part of this family. Right? This is what they doing. Oh, and then, pointing out friends and shit. And if you notice, all the names of the friends begin with J. Jean, Joan, and Jane. Because J is the hook. J is the hook. So they trying to hook him in by reminiscing. Yeah, remember, you know what I'm saying? Oh, look at this. Yes, these were the happiest days of our lives, you know what I'm saying? Trying to reminisce with him. You gotta peep this shit out. Now, alright, so once he starts to get a little bit of knowledge, you see that the agents are having a hard time keeping the lie going. And they cause more holes in the story the more you asking him. Like the scene where his wife about to go to work and shit, and he like, what's the hurry? She like, oh yeah, I gotta do this the surgery and shit. Gotta be at the surgery. You know what I'm saying? He knows she lying. But he like, alright, go on ahead. Then he like, you know what? I'm gonna catch you in the lie. I'm gonna confirm that you lying. Right? Because once you confirm that they lying, it's a lot easier for you to detach and deprogram. When you can confirm that, okay, yeah, these motherfuckers is lying. These motherfuckers is not telling the truth. It's easier to detach and deprogram. He go to the hospital, you know what I'm saying? These motherfuckers is in there like, Oh shit, he's here. They gotta run and try to act like they actually doing a surgery. All these fucking actors in there. Okay, scalpel. Motherfucking patient ain't even passed out. They cutting their own accident and shit, trying to keep the lie going. Then they constantly creating circumstances. They constantly creating circumstances to make it seem like it's impossible to leave. They constantly creating circumstances to make it feel like it's impossible to leave. This is when a person lets external circumstances put them in a state of being that doesn't allow their spirit to expand. This is when a person lets external circumstances put them in a state of being that doesn't allow their spirit to expand. Like, he like, fuck it, I'm just gonna leave the city. He get on the bus. Now the bus break down. You know what I'm saying? He go to the travel agent. She like, oh, ain't no tickets to Fiji for like at least a month, nigga. You know what I'm saying? And then look on the wall and shit. They like, it could happen to you. Could get struck while you trying to fly and shit. Right? All the roadblocks. You know what I'm saying? Fire and shit. But once he like, by this time he already done seen past the illusion, so he like, fuck it. He going through the fire. He going through everything. He don't care. That's somebody who doesn't let the external circumstances influence their state of being or affect their state of being. He's still on a high frequency, even though all of this shit going on. Notice how his wife goes into full defense mode when he starts pointing shit out. You know, she started to change the subject. She always changed the subject. And that's what a lot of people do when your vibration is not resonating with them. You know what I mean? They like to either change the subject or just shut down and get real quiet. You know? Because when you start to point the shit out, only thing they can do is go into a defense mechanism or shut down. Because that program that they're running on is malfunctioning. Because you done shook that motherfucker. Look, and you also notice how Truman becomes fearless. It don't matter what gets thrown at him. That's spiritual strength. That's how when you get that spiritual strength, you could go into the warfare and be shutting shit down in the astral realm, in the spirit realm, in other dimensions. Before it manifests itself as a circumstance, a situation in this reality. You already shutting that shit down. You on the offense now. And you got your defense. You know what I'm saying? You really got your full armor on and shit.